Steven in Eads, Tennessee. See more better here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, but call me Mo Better, because I'm going to have you seeing Mo Better, looking Mo Better, and show everyone else how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. When I cut your Zeiss Light D digital freeform progressive lens with the PhotoFusuion Extra Gray and the DuraVision Blue Protect Anti-Glare for your silhouette. 7581 is the chassis. We're going to cut shape 7610. And actually, normally I trace the frame. I don't have to do anything on this one because I've pre-done some things. That's the chassis we're going to work on, the blue, which I have worn myself. But let me go ahead. I've saved us a little bit of time. I've programmed the shape with the drill holes already into the computer. Let me do it where you can see the drill holes. There we go. So I'm going to take the right lens out of the packet. And the nice thing about Zeiss, they document everything. And your right eye reads plus 1 1/4 minus 1 at 80, plus 1 1/4 minus 1 at 80. This again is the Zeiss Progressive Light D 18. 1.59 is the refractive index of polycarbonate PhotoFusuion Extra Gray. The BP is not British Petroleum, it is Blue Protect, the anti-glare, your progressive power. Let's go ahead and take the right lens out of the packet. Place it on the platform. This is a block, or as I like to call Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. So I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I've got them here. By the way, I should take a minute and say I am an authorized silhouette dealer. My machine cuts the silhouette lenses. I've got silhouette on my cleaning cloth right there on the left-hand side underneath Oakley. I know I don't have any of the frames on my website. My previous web developer, who's a great computer guy but just didn't understand optics, couldn't figure out how to... Silhouette has many chassis, these 3 parts. The 2 temples and the bridge is the chassis. They have several different chassis to choose from. They have hundreds of shapes to choose from. Hundreds of sizes, well, several dozens of sizes. 3 different bridges, a 17, 19, or 21 bridge, various temple lengths. He couldn't figure out how to do that. I do have a new web developer who's working on a couple other projects for me now. As soon as those are complete, which will be next week, he can start rebuilding the freeprescriptionlenses.com website, and silhouettes will be on there. He will understand how to give you all the options with that. So until then, if you know what silhouette you want, like Steven has, this is the 3rd pair he's gotten from me. Just email me or call me. Go to the contact me page of the website. Let me know what chassis you want, the color, the bridge, the temple length, and then the shape of the lens, the size of that. We'll get it cut for you. So let's go ahead and pull the paper in and make the black side sticky. That silver button on the back is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice. The first time it's going to attach itself to another magnet there. I need to enter the pupillary distance and the optical center height. PD of 32, optical center height of 22. Change the layout screen from single vision to progressive. Lay out the lens. Come on. These little arms, the platform that it sits on, the black can get in the way of where the dots are, like on that side. So I have to rotate it to make sure that everything can be seen. So I'm going to lay everything out for us now. Now this video is going to take longer than average because of the drilling of the holes, putting it together, all the above. Hit that button. But stick with me, you get to see something made a little differently than most of my videos. Pull the paper to make the black side sticky. Grab your left lens, which reads plus 150 minus 50 at 80. The Zeiss Light D Progressive Light D, the digital freeform progressive lens, the refractive index PhotoFusuion Extra Gray, DuraVision Blue Protect, prescription of plus 150 minus 50 at 80, 2 1/4 add power. And if you guys missed any of that, let me recap. Ooh, little stickers I don't use. Let me set that aside to go into the recycling bin. So, PD for the left eye, 29.5. The computer has mirrored the right side, so we're going to tap the minus button until we get to 29.5. And if any of you want to know how I know where to drill the holes in relation to this lens, you can Google silhouette drill charts, and then Let's open the coordinates. That tells me the numerical values. The hole on the outside is 4.35 millimeters above the middle of the lens. Of course, it's going to be 2 millimeters from the edge. The next hole, the inward hole, is 4.5. The two by the nasal area of the nose are 6.8. That's for the 50 eye size. The 52 has different coordinates. And if I were to drill these by hand, which some people still do, that's why I spent the extra money to get the drill features on here. So, this is the blocker, this is the tracer, this is the edger. This is what's going to do all the work while I run my mouth. It weighs 200 pounds, costs $40,000. I recommend everyone go out and buy their own, and then you can cut your own lenses at home, and you won't need this guy with the two thumbs to do it for you. The actual, let's actually show you the components. Since this is a drill chart, I will show you the drill. And give me a chance to clean it. So, let me pull all that optical sawdust off. Drop that in the trash. But this is the drill bit that is going, this is going to spin and that's going to rotate. It's going to drill the holes in the lens. This blade does semi-rimless. This is for the safety bevel. It's a very smoother. This one I could cut myself if I pressed hard enough. But that's the components. Now you can, it says the software and the drill components are $10,000 less. You can buy this without drilling components for $30,000. I wanted to be able to drill lenses, so that's why it cost an extra $10,000 for me. Now I don't charge extra for the lenses, even though that cost me $10,000 in order to do that, but it's just I wanted to have that feature. So the actual cutting wheel is this diamond crusted wheel. It's going to grind away your lens material to its final size. This wheel on the outside is going to flatten it. It's not going to go to the bevel wheel, but it will flatten it there. This outside wheel is the polish wheel, which I will not be using. Some people like to polish the edge of lenses. I don't, and I'll show you in just a little while about that. But let's wake up the computer. Job ID number 2909. 2909. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, Hyndex plastic, or Trivex, I would select that. What I like, usually there's a bevel for metal or plastic or semi-rimless. This is completely flat. The edge of the lenses will be flat. Again, I'm not going to polish. I am going to put a safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens, which you rarely see. And I'm going to put a heavier bevel on the back side of the concave side of the lens. I'm going to press the magnet on there firmly, the sticker. Now the magnet's going to go into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I just don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. Hit the green start button, the door is going to close, the lens is going to be traced by two white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the chassis first time around. And then it's going to tap the lens to measure the thickness, make sure there's enough thickness per drill hole. How cool is that? And now the cutting wheel starts up. Water will begin flowing in the back of the machine to catch the optical sawdust that comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, Hyndex plastic, and Trivex cut wet, meaning that water sprays onto the lens while it is cutting. Now water will spray onto these lenses, but only for the last 20 seconds to wash away any optical debris that can occur should this lens ever touch down on the cutting wheel. There we go. But your lenses are made out of polycarbonate, which is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistics grade lens material, the same lens material that our soldiers wear overseas in combat zones to protect their eyes from shrapnel, from flying debris. It has 100% UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that have to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. Now Zeiss gives you the most complete UV protection of any lens. You get sunglass level UV protection even in a clear lens. They go all the way up to 400 nanometers of protection. That's why they partner with the American Cancer Society, because no other lens offers that much protection. Speaking of protection, you're also going to get 50 to 70% blue light protection built into the PhotoFusuion extra gray quality of these lenses. You got the Zeiss DuraVision Blue Protect, which gives you an additional layer of blue light protection. that is emitted from today's electronic devices such as cell phones, tablets, computer screens, and tablets. And of course the number one source of blue light on the planet, the sun. So it's getting the safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens, and now it's going to get it on the back concave surface of the lens, just to smooth out any sharp edges left over from the cutting cycle. So now it's going to spin in the other direction. It's now going to have the drill bit drill 4 holes into the lens. Now this is a 1mm drill bit. The hole that I need is 1.4mm. So once it goes through, you will see it wiggle around just a little bit to increase the diameter of the hole. Once it's through, it's going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There it goes. Now 3mm away, it's going to drill another hole. I'm glad I've come along after people used to have to do this by hand. You could cut the lens perfectly and then find out that you drill wrong, slip, cut too big of a hole. There's so many variables that could go wrong with something like this, and now that's why I spent the extra $10,000 to make the machine do it and make it look easy. The machine does the work and I get the credit. Actually, give me the cash, you can have all the credit. I saw that line from a movie. I thought it was funny. I think I'm the only one. Now, while I have a moment, the other thing about Silhouette, for $100 you can get a clip-on. You can get them in gray or brown. You can get the matching size. It's not magnetic, but it literally just snaps right down onto the bridge and it matches the shape of your lens. You can even get it larger if you want larger protection, but some people like that clean look on there. And then of course you just pop it off. It has a little clip for your thumbnail. Some people like to do that. You get your thumbnail behind there, but usually my thumbnails are so short to pull it off. But that's one. And of course it's not magnetic because they want to follow the lightweight theme. Although there are some rare earth magnets now, because I'm wearing my own design, my Christian eyewear. This is the Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You can see, well, of course mine is black. I left it in the car, but I happen to have a tortoise one here. You can see the rare earth magnets on the back that literally do just snap right on. So there's actually a plastic laminate on the front of this lens while it's being shipped to me to prevent the lenses from being scratched, and I peel that off before I ship to you. So let's take this lens out and let's go ahead and start working on the left. Place the magnet into the Chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby, or today I'm calling it the Steven. By the way, the reason why we're keeping with this shape, he was going to change it up. He saw a video I did for this color in a certain shape, and I was going to change it for him, and then his wife said, look, I've lived with you this long and you looking this way, why change it? I've gotten used to it. So Pam, he loves you very much, so he took your advice. He's not going to be my twin. He's going to be the original Steven, the man you fell in love with, the guy who still loves you tremendously, to keep that shape. And trust me, before I got married, I had an old timer tell me that marriage is about compromise, and as the guy, you do the compromising. So I'm going to go ahead and take this block off, continue working on this lens, get back in there. Now, let me pull out my tool drawer here. I need this sharp tool, which I forget what it is called. I need this burr. I need the cigar cutter, as I call it, and my favorite optical tool of all time, this thumbtack. By the way, this is imported, and they make you buy them in packs of 50 or 100. I can't buy just one. So the first thing I do I want a reaming tool. I want to ream the hole out just to make sure there's no residual residue inside the hole. Do the same thing now for the one next to it. Now, if anyone ever has had a silhouette lens and you see small cracks right near the hole, I'm not an engineer, but I would believe it's not why they've done that. I'm buffering the hole to reduce counter stress provided by the posts that mount into it. Now the next thing, once the inside is done, this little burr, diamond shaped, I'm going to rub around the edge of the lenses to reduce the stress caused by the posts as you move around with this frame on. Alright, now that is done, go ahead and get the rest of the optical sawdust off the lens. Silhouette, somewhere inside here, some junk mail, here we go, provides me with the sleeves. Did I just have a Peter Brady moment? Did my voice crack? It keeps me young. So these are bushings that are going to go inside your lens. Slide that through. Now they're long enough because it'll go through different thicknesses of lenses, and then you trim them to fit with this little cigar cutter into the trash. And sometimes they get hung in there, so I tap it on the counter. Again, my favorite optical tool to clean out the holes. Because this crimps down those bushings, I'm going to open them back up. Now these are 1.4 millimeter bushings. They used to make a 2.0 for kids frames, and they had some plastic temples that have been discontinued years ago, but I would do this with them forgetting that they were larger, and they were just large enough this thing would go all the way through and stab myself in the finger. And you're amazed how many times you do that before forgetting, why do I keep doing that? So this is how the frame is sent to me, with this little piece of plastic that holds the pieces in there. So I start with the bridge. By the way, this cobalt blue is amazing. Again, this is color 6076. The chassis is the 7581, and what they've done, they've put a little kink right there and made it a little bit thicker, but some of these used to bow outward pretty far. That way it makes it follow the contour of your head a little better. Every 10 to 20 years you got to redesign things for the better. Now I've got to grab this tool. It says Adidas on one side, Silhouette on the other. That's because Silhouette makes the frames for Adidas. Silhouette is an Austrian company, Adidas German, so they work hand in hand. And I crimp that on there. Let's go a little bit slower on the next one. I'm going to take the temple. Ooh, I almost put that one on upside down, which I have done, but you're not going to see it in this video because you don't pay me enough to do it wrong. So now this crimping tool has a little pivoting head on there. It rocks back and forth. It follows the contour of the front of the bushing, which essentially is a plastic rivet, and the purple goes against the back of the lens, that on the front, and as I squeeze you can see it go together. And because the contour, the shape of the lens, this floats back and forth, so it always stays in steady contact with the frame front. So let's go ahead and take the left lens out, dry everything off, go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Add to my sticker collection, grab the reaming tool, ream out any debris that could still be in the hole. Now this is a good way to, where you can stick yourself with something sharp on that one still. Now I've just designed Christian eyewear. As I have told you, I'm going to try and come up with a drill mount frame like this within the next year or two, because there's a lot of people who don't want to wear a thick plastic frame. But by the way, I wore silhouette lenses, frames and lenses for years, and then I switched to the Ray-Ban 2132 New Wayfarer. My wife said, you went from something that was invisible to something you could see all the way across the parking lot. There was nothing in between in the middle that you wanted. And I said, nope. But this frame is deceptively comfortable. I know it looks thicker and heavier, and that's why I modeled it for mine. Now this one has the shield, as it's called, the rivet, just like the bushing I'm putting in your silhouette lenses. I left that off the front of that because not everyone likes it. I also put a 7-barrel hinge on here, making it incredibly strong. Silhouette only has a 3-barrel hinge. But I wanted to design it where you could run over it with a tank and nothing happened to it. Now my frames come in 3 primary colors: black, tortoise, and purple. Within those 3 colors, you can get it with silver crosses on the side. As you see on mine, you can get it with gold crosses on the temple or the temple tips. But I went with black and silver to match my black and silver hair, that is, my wisdom highlights. Get all the optical sawdust off the edge of your lenses. Grab 2 of these sleeves, the bushings, slide them through the lens. I'm going to take the other 2. You know you're an optician when you use a contact lens case to hold your silhouette sleeves. There's 2 extra here. These are the hard. The BLS 58 hard. I forget what the soft ones are called. The 40. The 40. I wrote it on there. But so, I keep the extra ones. Ooh, and I was getting a little low. So I'm going to throw the hard ones in there. For much of my career, I preferred using the softer ones. Then I realized I think the hard hold better. So I'm switching everything over to hard. Now it's a little harder on me to get these things started. It's much easier to use the softer ones. And I'll show you why in just a moment. Clean up as I go, make sure all that's done. I guess I don't have to close the drawer yet. Use my favorite optical tool to open the crimped holes. Mount that back into the spot where it goes. I've got my backup red, but I like the yellow. Now the hard ones, again, these are the 2 posts that hold the silhouettes together, and it's barbed. It has a few different barbs on there. As I press this in there with the hard bushings, it is a little bit harder to get started. You can see the groove that is made into my finger. The soft ones, is much easier to get them started, pushed in there to hold. But I do prefer the hard because I just feel like they grab so much better. Of course, I crimped that down again without showing you, just out of habit. Let me see if I slow down again. Get these started. Work that groove until my finger. And again, as I squeeze together, you can see the bushings go inside the lens. All right. So that's that. Now let's get this lined up here. Which one of these is lower? That one is. Okay. When you crimp them together, that happens. So now this is the time called final inspection. Of course, this dot is getting worn. Let me put it back on there so you guys can see what's going on. And again, if you missed any of that, let me recap. Free bad jokes with every pair of glasses sold. So we're going to spin the axis wheel to 80 to verify the prescription. I'm going to put it in just above that black dot. Read the power. And I'm getting plus 125 in the black. Going away from 0, I pass 1, and then 1 tick mark past 1 on my way to 2. That's because the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. Starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4. You have 5 steps of far-sighted correction. Now, once everything is the correct size, your lenses magnify. That's why there's a plus sign. They don't magnify as much as this, but they do magnify. Now, once the object is the correct size, you have a full diopter, another 4 steps of astigmatism correction. Uncorrected astigmatism makes 6s and 8s look alike with the letters P and F. Think of it as the fine-tune knob. We're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 80. A straight line is 0 to 90 to 180. We're going to stop just shy of the 90th meridian at 80. Now I'm going to measure the second curve of the eye, and we're at plus a quarter into the black. The plus numbers, minus numbers are in the red. If you had $1.25 and you let someone borrow $1, you would have 1 quarter left in the black, and that's where we're at. Now your left eye, you need 6 steps of correction, 1.5 diopters, but then half a diopter of astigmatism correction. So let's measure on the left. I don't have to change the axis wheel because you are the same 80th degree, the 80th meridian for the left. Let's read the power. And when I'm looking inside here, I can't tell if you guys see that, I'm getting 3 skinny lines. Now again, I can't see what I'm doing, so if I move that, it's going to get blurry. At some point it'll focus and back to blurry. So let me see where I'm at. Okay, we're at plus 150. Oop, bang that. Halfway between 1 and 2, you have 2 steps of astigmatism correction. And then, I'm breaking everything today. When I measure that, the half a diopter, we're back down to 1, because again, we started at 150, we subtracted a half from that, and we're at 1. Pupillary distance is 32 for the right eye, 29.5 for the left, for a total of, let's see if that was 30, that would be 62, 61.5, optical center height of 22. So I'm going to turn the card around, place the PD stick against my thumb. When we hold it up to the right lens, we're getting 61.5. The optical center height of 22. Place that there, and now finally, I always tell you in my other videos, don't go look at the bottom of the lens. Now you can, because there's no frame that holds it. We're getting 22 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. 22 millimeters, that is cut perfectly. Now the last thing I do in terms of final inspection as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and I'm part of that 80%, and I'll show you in just a moment. But when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance these could fit too loose or too tight. So if this is true, just stop by your local place, just tell them. They'll see. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to adjust a pair of glasses perfectly, including the silhouettes. Some people are intimidated by this. I don't know why. No one ever told me to be intimidated, so I just jumped in, elbows first, and mastered this frame. I cut the lenses for them, so I'm not intimidated by this frame at all. And the adjustments are easy, but I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2 in the bottom of the frame. The lenses being 3, I set them on the counter. Of course, one temple overlaps the other, but when I say standard alignment or 3-point stance, when I take mine off, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. Flip these over, press down. There is no wobble, and usually I would check the tension on the hinges, but this is the memory metal from Silhouette, which is nice if you fall asleep with them on, step on them. There's nothing lighter weight. These are 1.5 grams. These glasses were designed by NASA. There's no screws to ever come loose. If you bump your head in 0 gravity or in gravity, they just snap back to their original positioning. So extremely comfortable, extremely durable. This is the Titan series. I don't know if it was named after the Titan 5 rockets, where every astronaut is required to wear silhouettes because there is nothing lighter or stronger. And of course, weight is very important in the space program. So the lighter weight, the better. So that's why one of the astronauts, and I forget who it was, but during takeoff, the vibration was so strong, a screw fell out of the lens, and they were in a closed respirator, and he sucked it into his lungs. So NASA said this can never happen again, so they sat down and redesigned a frame that has no screws in it that all astronauts can wear until they come up with 20-year-old astronauts, which is never, because you have to train for about 40 years before you can go up in a rocket. That's why they all wear these. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and expose the PhotoFusuion Extra Gray, the extra dark gray, here in just a moment. And of course, the DuraVision Blue Protect Anti-Glare has a purplish hue because it guards in the ultraviolet spectrum there. But as you can see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for photochromic transition lenses to darken, a little bit longer when you come back inside. 45 seconds to a minute, minute 15. Now, Stephen and everyone else watching, Pam included, all photochromic transition lenses will get dark on day 1 and continue to darken every day for the first couple weeks or exposed to the sun. After that, they will work for years at maximum performance. The only time they won't work is if you're behind the windshield of your car. Your windshield absorbs the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause your dashboard to crack from sitting in the sun all day, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Having said that, the PhotoFusuion Extra Gray will get 30 to 50% dark behind a windshield. Now, they're also temperature sensitive, meaning they will get darker when it's 85 and below than they will when it's 95 and above. But I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody works 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. But again, having said that, these extra active gray lenses are designed for extra active people who spend extra amounts of time outside. And with this being early August, the dog days of summer, you're going to want something that's dark should you have to be outside. And of course, they naturally block 50 to 70% blue light protection, and then he's got the additional blue light protection on top of that. So he's got all the bases covered. Now, this frame, the Silhouette chassis, no matter which chassis you get, sells for $279.99. The Zeiss Light D digital freeform progressive lens adds $149.99. The PhotoFusuion Extra Gray, the regular PhotoFusuion, the Generation 8 technology, which Zeiss had first, that you can get in gray, brown, green, or blue, is $99. The Extra Gray is $129. It costs more because it does more. And of course, the DuraVision Blue Protect Anti-Glare is $99.99, just like DuraVision Platinum, for a total of $659.96. Now, that is tax-free. The reason why I point that out now is that a lot of people on the internet are having to charge tax. I'm in North Carolina. Howdy, neighbor. Steven's in Tennessee. He's our cousins from the West. I'm his cousin from the East. But North Carolina considers eyeglasses a medical device. There is no tax collected on medical devices, and that's how I'm able to remain tax-free. If you were to buy these glasses online at the same price, which I doubt, let's say $659.96. Now, I don't know what other states' tax is, but North Carolina's is 7.5%. If you were to get these anywhere else, you would owe another $49 and roughly 50 cents, but that's nearly just 50 cents shy of $50 that you get to keep in your pocket just because you got these from me. Now again, there are less expensive frames, there's less expensive lens options, but Steven wanted the absolute best. This is something he wears every waking moment, and you will definitely get your money's worth out of these. Now, Pam, aren't you happy that Steven listened to you and said, okay, I'm going to keep the same shape that I've always had? But do me a favor, click the thumbs up button, like my video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click the bell icon so you get notified of future frame and lens combinations as they become available. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram as Free Prescription Lenses, on Twitter as Free RX Lenses. If you have any questions about silhouettes, just go to the Contact Me page of the website. You can also leave a question or a comment in the comment section below. But Steven in Eads, Tennessee, thank you so much for the purchase of the Silhouette 7581 chassis, shape 7610, the 50 eye size, 19 bridge with a 150 temple length. Again, 3 different bridge widths, 3 different temple lengths, but with your Zeiss PhotoFusuion, Zeiss digital freeform progressive lenses with the PhotoFusuion Extra Gray and DuraVision Blue Protect Anti-Glare. And now hopefully everyone else has gotten a chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.